you feel secure right now? Maybe in your car, maybe in your house, maybe with a friend, maybe with God, source, universe. Where in your life can you feel a sense of safety or peace right now, or whatever it is? And if you can feel those feelings now, that puts you in alignment of money. And that puts you in to be a vibrational match for those things. And because you already feel them, you already have it. And because you already have it, it's not on a pedestal. Another way to take it off a pedestal is make the T chart. Write down all the good things, like all the good things that would bring you. Everything in this universe is in balance. It has to be. There's every single thing in this universe has to have an equal amount of positive and negative, for literally it's like a metaphysical law. So all the good things that come with money, there's an equally bad things that come with it. So if you're putting it too much on this pedestal, you got to take it off. How you take it off is you see the bad things. So what are the bad things about making a lot of money? Well, then you're gonna have to pay a lot more in taxes. Then you're gonna have to find someone to like deal with your money. And oh my God, what if they steal it from you? You got to find someone you trust. Then you're gonna have like a lot more things going on. You're gonna be more, you're maybe not more busy, but you're gonna be doing something that's gonna take more of your attention away from whatever it is you're doing now. You're gonna have to sacrifice certain things that don't match the lifestyle of somebody who's abundant, right? So all those things, it balances it out. You want to get to a point where, one, you feel like you already have it. Two, it's just so neutral to you because you feel like you already have it. You know what I mean? You don't even get a new car and you're really high on life for a minute and you're like, this is the best thing ever. And then like 3 weeks, 4 weeks is just kind of, now it's normalized. That's what we want to do. And we want to normalize it before it even gets to us, because that's how we make ourselves a match for it to get to us.
That is very helpful. And I think it really lends into the whole like limiting beliefs thing because, like, for instance, when I first got into this like mindset and like point of view on life, I kind of was like, all right, I was introduced to being Catholic or Christian or whatever, and I never identified with that. And I kind of thought, okay, if it's that, then if it's not that, then what else am I, you know? And then once I was introduced to like this, I was like, okay, this makes sense to me. And also like it does feel more of like the mindset and like attainable things that we can all do. So as far as like changing like people's opinions about this, like if they're like, okay, I have this limiting belief that money's hard to get, or like my parents always acted like the 9 to 5 is so hard. Like, what if you don't really realize that that is your thought process? Like for me, I never did before I got introduced to this. I guess that's where I'm going with this. Like, I never knew that that was a limiting belief for me. So, how can you kind of uncover your limiting beliefs if like you don't know what they are?
Honestly, great question. You know what? That's the thing is that's why working with a coach, a mentor, somebody who has what you want is essential. They will point out for you. They'll show you where you are. They'll show you what you want, and they'll show you the beliefs and the wirings and the programs that you have that aren't a match to get you to where you want. If you try, like, if you're listening to this podcast, I'm sure you're self-aware that you have some limitations or that you want to expand or whatever it is. For someone who's just walking the streets having no idea and doesn't search out anyone to become better at anything, honestly, they probably wouldn't ever realize that they have limitations. But if you feel something in you, I'll say this, if you feel something in you and you feel this pull and you know you're meant for more, whether it's in your career, whether it's with money, whether it's in your relationship, whether it's being a mom or a dad, whether it's whatever it is, if there's your health, your fitness, if there's anywhere in life that you feel like you're meant for more, or if there's anywhere in your life that you feel jealous of someone, that's an instant sign that you're meant for that. So if you're jealous of somebody, it's just your soul being like, hey, like you can have that too. And then we flip it into like, oh, I'm pissed at them because they have that and I don't. So I would notice the jealousy, anyone you're jealous of or any lifestyle you're jealous of. And jealousy isn't bad or good. It's here to help us if we use it in the right way, right? So notice what you're jealous of or who you're jealous of or kind of lifestyle you're jealous of or kind of body type you're jealous of or whatever it is. And if you're finding yourself desiring it, it's for you. It's already in your soul contract to have it, because desire in Latin, it's a derivative meaning of the Father. So whatever word you use, God, source, universe, light, whatever word you use, we all know we came from a parent energy, right? Of energy much bigger than us. So that energy in our soul, before we even got here on earth, had a soul contract for us of what our soul's back here to do. So anything you desire on a soul level from that heart space, it's already contracted to you. And the only thing in between that, in between where you are now and what your soul contract is and what your soul desires, is your own human limiting mind that you've decided to believe certain things that aren't the truth, that have kept you in a certain place that doesn't have to be true for you. So I'd say anyone who doesn't realize that they don't have limiting beliefs, pay attention to what you desire. Pay attention to what you're telling yourself around that desire. Pay attention to who you're jealous of, and pay attention to what you're telling yourself. Are you jealous of them and you're going, oh, I could never have that? Or are you jealous of them and you're going, okay, I'm jealous because that's actually possible for me. How do I get there? From that space, then you can search out a mentor, a coach, an intuitive, a whoever that you feel called to, that you want something that they have, and that they can help you even more clear see any limitations or any things that are stopping you. And I don't even like to use the word block, because block sounds so heavy. It sounds so like, oh, this is taxing. How about we just use what perception shift do we need to have? What thing do we need to, what can we expand on? What thing can we be enlightened in? And that to me just sounds so much more like exciting to go do than have to deal with the
Yeah,
block.
yeah. I like love this conversation. I feel like it's you are so passionate about this, so that is like inspiring too, that like you found the thing. And I think a lot of people listening, like we all feel like we're on that journey to find the thing. So, and you pointed out like the jealousy thing. And I think one of the other things that really got me feeling like resonating with this stuff, and I keep saying this stuff, you know what I mean, right? Like
Oh,
manifesting the universe, and yeah. So as far as that, like one time and again, I can't remember who it was, but they were like, your desires are your destiny, because like if somebody else has this desire to be a painter, you don't. So like there's a reason that you desire something, if that makes sense. So that really like made me realize that it's worth diving deep into these desires you have. And I think that's what fueled me changing my job so many times and changing my like what I want to do with my life. And I feel like all of these job changes are those like meant to be in your life? Like you're meant to go from one to the other, or like is there something there? Like would I get to what I'm meant for in a way, or do I have to go through all these jobs?
yeah, good question. So, but it can be both, and everyone's scenario is different. But there's never such thing as a waste of time. So if you're like finding yourself going from job to job to job, there's something in there in each of those jobs for you. So there's something in okay, I'll use myself as an example. In LA, when I was pro dancing, when I stopped, I needed jobs. Like I had no money. So I like worked at like a Bath and Body Works. They made me dance outside and hold lotion. It was a full situation. I worked at, oh God, I was a nanny. I would like clean people's toilets and like do personal assistant work for them. I worked at a bunch of like retail stores or boutiques. Then I did what I do. Oh, I managed like a mobile spray tan. I didn't manage it. I like ran the scheduling for mobile spray tan company and that kind of thing. I had a bunch of different, shit going on. And in each one of those, there was always something there for me. It showed me what I didn't want. It showed me what I could make better. It showed me how I wanted to run my own business. It showed me a bunch of stuff. So there's always going to be something in there. Now, if you find yourself there, then on the other side of that, if you find yourself going from job to job because you're running away from something, because you're running away from a feeling, you will keep manifesting that same feeling in a new job. So I always say don't leave something till you're neutral about it, because if you're leaving something because you're running away from a trigger, our soul's here to learn and grow, and we grow and learn from our triggers. Our triggers are good. So it's going to follow us. And if it doesn't follow you to the next job, it'll follow you to your business. So I have this thing where like I did not like being told what to do. Like it would trigger me. Yeah. And it would make me feel, you get it, and it would make me feel so small. But that's the thing, is it would make me feel less than. And if anyone's making me feel less than, it's not their problem, it's mine. Like, why am I letting someone make me feel that way, right? Whether they're telling me what to do or not, they shouldn't have that power. So I would go from job to job that I was always being told what to do. Obviously, if you're an employee, you're going to be told what to do in some way, shape, or form. So then when I get into my own business, I'm like, oh, well, no one can tell me what to do now. Yeah, they can, because my clients started to tell me like what time they needed to be scheduled and what time they needed to, and then I would feel that same feeling again. I was like, oh, I can't run away from this feeling. I have to heal this feeling. So if you're bobbing from job to job to avoid a trigger, what is triggering you? Look at it and shift it within yourself, or else there's no escaping it. You can't outrun the universe. They'll find you.
Right. Yeah, that's funny that I really do resonate with that. Like, I felt like every time I was working somewhere, I'm like, "Why do other people care so much?" Like, there's just something in my head. I was like, "I do not wanna listen to this person," and also, like, "Why is everything so serious?" Like, it really isn't. But so, yeah, I do believe, like, that you learn something. So, do you think that everything happens for a reason? Like, or because I just think there's 2 competing thoughts in my mind. Like, either you're manifesting all the time and you're going to manifest the negative quote unquote situation, or like everything is already preset, like that contract you referred to. So those two things, do they go hand in hand, or is that just, am I thinking about it wrong?
No, you, oh my God, you asked the best question. So it's both. It's both, because we have a soul contract, and that is essentially like our highest possible outcome, essentially, for our life. But then we have our human free will. So we are always manifesting, whether we realize it or not. We're manifesting by our thoughts. Manifesting isn't writing something down, putting it under your pillow, and like going to sleep with it. You know this. We're manifesting just with whatever thoughts we're having, and that's what we're continuing to create in our reality. We don't manifest. We don't get in life what we want. We get in life how we're being, right? So whatever it is, the thoughts you're having, you will continue to get proved back to you by people, situations, circumstances, and events every day, all day, no matter what. Whether you like it or not, that's what's happening. So we have that, and then we have our soul contract. Now, God, source, universe, light, they can't go against our free will of what we believe to be true and what we believe we can have. So if we don't believe we can have our desires, if we don't know we can have them, if we aren't taking the actions both internally and externally to access them that are inside of you, then universe, whoever, can't help us. They can't do anything, because it doesn't matter how cool your soul is. If you're not starting to see it, or if you're not taking any action, do the internal or physical action to get there, then it doesn't matter. So yes and yes, like things are already written in the cards for our soul contract. However, it doesn't mean we just automatically get them. Our brain, our neural pathways, our cells, our belief systems have to be aligned with our soul desires to get them. If they're not, we will not get them. So it's both, essentially.
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense. Do you, so like on a very small level, do you think that, like, for example, we were meant to do this interview? Or is this just like maybe, because I always think about everything happens for a reason, like maybe I was late in the morning because if I wasn't, I'd get in a car accident. Like, is it that minute and small, or do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, it totally can be. I mean, even with not to like bring this up and be like a downer, but remember 9/11 and how people reported like missing their flight that morning, and it wasn't, they weren't in alignment to cross over that day. That it wasn't supposed to happen for them. So for sure, if ever I'm late, like I used to get really annoyed. Now I'm like, I could have just missed something. I'm supposed to be late. Like I'm not supposed to like be on time right now. So
Yeah.
100%. And I also, let's say let's say you go to interview like someone, like the coolest person you know on your podcast, right? And oh my God, thank you. Wow. I feel honored. let's let's go